Dune 2, which I actually think is probably the best movie made in the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not really sure. I'll have to go back and do a count. I just love it. Give it the Oscars now, just all that kind of stuff. I loved it. I don't have to do my re-gushing of it. But the question is now, how much money will it actually make? And that's where it becomes a little bit more tricky. Now, the first Dune made $41 million in its opening weekend. Of course, take that into consideration with the fact that it was during a pandemic on the tail end of it, and HBO Max made the all-time stupidest decision in studio history to take all their movies that year and make them day-and-date releases on HBO so people could just stay at home and watch them for effectively free if they wanted to. And yet it still made $41 million opening weekend. Went on to make a little over $400 million, I believe, at the box office, regardless of those circumstances. $433 million overall. More than Black Adam did. And it was available for people to watch at home anyway. And it still made more than Black Adam did. So the questions become, how will it do with Dune 2? Now, it's funny because yesterday, somebody wrote in and said, it's going to make $100 million. My screens in my theaters are all sold out. And I said, I believe yesterday, I think 80. I think 80 is where it's going to come in. Well, according to Variety, that's exactly where the industry analysts are putting it. This comes to us from Variety, who wrote the following. Ticket sales at the box office this weekend will be flowing as freely as spice on the desert planet of Arrakis. So clever. Director Denis Villeneuve big budget sequel Dune Part 2, where spice is an all-powerful commodity, is targeting $70 to $80 million in its opening weekend. Warner Brothers, the studio behind the sci-fi epic, is more conservative, projecting a $65 million start, though most box office prognosticators believe that the revenues could near the $90 million mark. At the international box office, the fall of 2021's Dune is projected to collect $80 to $90 million from roughly 70 markets. So what they're basically saying is this thing could be anywhere between 70 and 90 million. So let's say 80 for argument's sake. And it could exceed that as word of mouth continues to go around that this thing is freaking great. Not just word of mouth from the first public audience that saw it in Paris, not just from the early word of mouth from the critics who saw it, but now tens of thousands of movie fans have seen it with the advanced fan screening they did the other night. Rob, you and I both took advantage of those. Maybe that number could even go up, but let's say 80 million. I think that's a good number for this. If it comes in at 80, I think that's a great number, doubling up what it did before, because you're taking advantage of the fact that it's not on HBO now. You're taking advantage of the positive buzz, 6 Academy Awards that the first one got. I still don't see it making the 120, 130, $150 million blockbuster numbers opening weekend, just because it is such a different kind of movie. It's not a movie that's for everybody. So it's not the popcorn, delicious, buttery popcorn-ishness that, say, a Star Wars is, right? But I think 80 would be great, and I'm still picking 80. Although, Rob, the number could be higher. Like some analysts are saying as high as 90. We've seen in situations like Barbie where the actual weekend blew away the high projections. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Do you think 80 is where it's going to come in? Do you think it's going to be higher than that? What do you think would be a good number for them?
All I can say is it's going to go over 100.
You do think it's going to go over 100?
I think it's going to go over 100 because just gauging the IMAX screens alone are sold out for weeks. It's kind of like what with Oppenheimer came out. You
Right.
couldn't get IMAX tickets. And by the way, you have to see this movie in the biggest theater possible because this truly is, as you say, John, an experiential event. Again, I think Oppenheimer, Barbie, these movies provide, they're very transportive, they're very immersive. This is following on the heels. People are ready to see something like this. Dune's been playing on cable now. People have seen it, caught up with it. It's like you said, it's not for everybody, but you can't walk out of this movie without being somewhat changed. I mean, when you walk out of this movie, you've gone through, you've had you've had the most transportive experience that you can have from a story that you've seen in a movie theater. And I just, it's so, it is a truly transporting, moving experience if you're open to that sort of thing. And this is what you want the movies to be. And so few are. And I think Oppenheimer, to a certain extent, and Barbie, in a way, kind of did that. Maybe the Oppenheimer, the Barbenheimer thing added to that. But, dude, I by the time this movie was over, my jaw was just, I was in awe of what I had seen. And, you know, there'll be some people that love the books that'll be detractors about certain things not being there. Or there's going to be people that are talk about how the movie ends. But I would say you're wrong because you can see what's being set up for the next one. And I think this movie is a marvelous, wonderful experience at the movies. And I think people are dying for this. And they're going to go again. I mean, I'm seeing it twice in 1 week. 6 hours of my time. And I'm driving both ways. It was a 90-minute drive each way.
Where did you go see it?
I saw it the Burbank 16.
Oh, you drove into Burbank.
And then I'm going to Universal to see it
on the IMAX screen.
On the IMAX screen at 7:10 a.m.
Because the one at Universal is like the true OG IMAX.
Yes.
So how does that compare to the Chinese theaters? It's bigger than the Chinese theater?
It's bigger than the Chinese theater. Now, the Chinese theater is still a great IMAX screen.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
It's and their projection system. The only problem with the Chinese now is half the seats are broken.
Yes, you fall back.
You fall back, and I hate that. It's like they need
what?
Yeah,
the springs in the backs of the seats.
They're all
kind of
sprung
go back really far.
Yeah, and it's all the great seats because that's where people sit the most.
Because I was thinking about my second viewing going to the Chinese, but maybe I'll do Universal then.
Do Universal. I mean, the problem with the Chinese is if you sit in rows M or N, perfect.
Yeah.
But then all the seats are sprung, and it's so annoying.
How do they
you
not
kind of have
fix
to
that
balance
immediately?
yourself the whole time.
How can they be so incompetent that it's the most famous movie theater in the
Because
world?
they'd have to spend the money.
They have to fix all those seats.
They have to fix all of them.
It's not so bad that you fall out, but you just kind of keep going back.
Yeah, and
it's
you
like,
can't.
dude.
It's not. Hey, Chinese theater people, fix those seats and it's all in the same section because that's where the best places to sit.
Well,
are.
let's not get sidetracked
I know.
because I could easily go on. But look,
Seat talk.
I could see it. It's look, with the high range projections being 90, it crawling over 100 is totally within the realm of possibility. I mean, it totally is. But then how high could it go? Again, I don't think this is the big super popular. Like I don't see the 120, 130.
No.
I'm still gonna say
It's not for kids.
80. What's that?
It's not for kids.
Yeah, the 14-year-olds aren't going to run out.
film.
I don't think the 14-year-olds are going to run out
Kids
to watch
love
this.
walking. Come on.
Yeah, the kids are all about.
Although this
cowbell.
movie's a stoner movie, man. People might take their edibles and they're going to be flying high watching this. The dankest of the nugs.
Let's just put it this way: I would love, but by me saying I don't see it going over 120, I don't think I would ever love more about being wrong. I mean, if they came out and said this thing made $125 million, I'll lose my mind. I mean,
By the
that
way,
would be
Florence
awesome.
Pugh is a goddess in this film. Absolute
Well,
goddess.
so is Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh,
so
she
is
is too.
Zendaya. So I mean, like,
And don't get me started on those worms.
yeah, and the worms in that popcorn bucket. Anyway, if you haven't checked out our community tab today on the YouTube channel, you should go see a picture I did not make, but you should go and see the picture I posted up in there.
Plus, I mean, by the end of this movie, just the slow build, you just sit back and I can't believe what you get to see in this movie, the scale of it.
Oh, it's remarkable. Anyway, guys, with that down, what do you think about this? How big of an opening do you think Dune is going to have? I'm still aiming for the 80, but I totally see that it could be over 100. Rob, I think you could see it being under 100, but you're going for the
I'm
over
going
100.
over.
What do you think about the $120 million mark, though?
You know
Is that
what?
a bit much?
It really depends because I think the one thing that I think most people that are cineasts are going to want to see it in a large format theater, and those are going to be the first theaters to sell out. So people might wait.
Yeah,
But
because I would say I would agree with Rob when he says see it on the biggest screen possible, but do not wait to see it. Like Like, go see it in a regular movie theater if you want, and then buy your tickets for an IMAX later on if you must. But I would say definitely see on the biggest screen, but don't wait.
Because
But
it's
yeah.
truly an experiential event.
Yeah, I
It
completely
really
agree.
is.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.